There's a few reasons why this window kit is wrong for this van. I ordered it a year ago, so I just left it in the box. I got a discount on it. That's why I bought it a year ago, is because it was on sale. And then when I went to start doing it, I noticed that the windows are curved. These specifically say in the instructions for flat glass only. So I'm doing everything I can to make this kit work. I already cut it says in the instructions, this comes on here like this normally. But it says that you can cut the bottom of the rail off and then remotely mount this motor if you don't have enough length in your door top to bottom in order to keep the motor attached to the rail there. So I did that, and then I heated this up and I put a curve in it. What I did was I had the rail out, the vent window rail. It mounts somewhere down here. It's about this long, goes up to here. I had that out, and then I just kept shaping this rail until this portion here slid right inside that rail. And I could actually slide it up and down inside the rail as if it were the window. And I had the window out, so I also held this up to the window, and I have the same curvature. Also, this window goes up at an angle, which I don't know if you can see that line right there. So that's the path that the window rides in the door. And this has to sit down in the door and curve just like the window does inside the door. So the rail ends up sitting in, so I can't just mount the rail right to the inside of the door. It has to be set in. So I made these brackets, and these go in here like this. That fastens to the rail, and then this brings it up, and I fastened it here. This is the one. This looks really beefy. It's not as heavy as it looks. It's what is that, 1/8 inch? This one goes here like that. This one goes here like that. This one I had to come backwards because the rail ends up here, and the rail does have to be that long in order to get the window to shut all the way up into the felt in the top of the window. So that would have put that hole up in here, and this area is not going to be covered by my door card. I'm going to end the door card, I think, right here on this line. So I needed to keep mounting all holes south of this line right here. So this bracket gets me back and fastens right there. The door handle, the door rod, when you open this handle like this, there's a lever that moves over. So that's what that is all about. Basically, it goes in there like that, but you know, underneath here. So I got it all together last night, wired up a little run, hooked up to the battery there. And it goes down fine. It pulls it right down. It goes down nice and fast. But when you go to send it up, this little section right here, I could not keep that. See, that's all when you cut this off, that's all you have left there. So there's not enough on there to clamp this on there. So when it starts pushing the motor up, the window gets partially up, and then this pops off, and then just starts pushing this regulator out. So that's where I'm at right now. I just came out. I ended like that last night, trying to figure out how I was going to. And this also was up a little higher when I mounted this motor. This motor mounts in here like this, but underneath. When I tightened that in, it pulled the motor up, and the rail was lower. So not only was it curving like this, but it was also up, kind of like this. So I'm going to put some spacers in and move that motor down a little bit to get it more in line so it's the same depth as the rail. Instead of trying to find a way to get this to stay on here, I thought about cutting this back and giving myself more to attach to, and maybe putting some burrs, doing something, scratching this up to make it to where this line wants to stay on there better. But rather than do that, I think I'm going to take some steel. This is the same exact inside diameter as what that PEX tubing is. I think I might bend this and then weld a tab on. A little tab to come over, and I can put a bolt right here in this hole, and then weld another tab on the other end of it, and come up and utilize this bolt right here that's already holding that in there. Come right over top of it. And that way I'm not welding this tube here and here and making it permanent. This could still be removed by undoing these bolts and then running the regulator through it, and this could be removed separately. I can get that angle, and I already have the right length here, so if I straighten this out and cut this pipe the same length as this tube, then it's just a matter of putting the right bend in it. The only thing that worries me about that plan is the depth. I've got to get that exactly right. So if I make it, then I have to shim this motor according to the bend in the pipe, and get that motor sitting in there exactly the way it's supposed to be. So that's the only thing that worries me. This one came out nice, but that was the first one, so it was easy because I got to put it in whatever position I wanted it to be. But this one I had to try to weld with it in the door. Okay, I'm going to draw that up. Okay. Okay. As you can imagine, this one is not easy. I gotta get my arms all the way up in there, and I have to get it in there and put this bolt in that rail on the top of the rail. Okay, that one's tight. I gotta bring the window down. Come on, baby. Come on. Oof. That sounds pretty rough. See the rest of the track coming up. It's almost all the way down. No, it's right at the end. Right. So why is it binding at the top of the travel? Does good, does good. Right there. Oof. That sounded bad. Yeah, the tube is still connected to the motor. Let's see anything going on inside. A little higher voltage too. Right now we're just at 12.5 volts. If the van were running, it would be at 13.5 at least. That seems like I'm out of track. Or out of regulator. Oh, because I added a little bit of tube. So now it's not long enough to get all the way to, that's not good. That's not good. What happened was, this is the piece that I replaced with steel. And originally I cut the steel this exact length to go between the rail and the motor. But then I had to cut it again. These are my two mess ups right here. So this was the first one. This one right here is the first one, and this is the exact length of this tubing. And it ended up not being long enough. So then I did this one, and this was a 1/4 inch too short. So then I cut a third one, which is the one that I used. So I kept getting longer. And the one that's in there now is another 1/4 inch longer than what this one is. So that final 1/2 inch that the window's not going, it's not finishing, it's not going up, is because I made this too long. And the only way I'm going to be able to make it work is by using one of these shorter ones and then moving the whole motor. So I'm going to have to drill more holes in the top of the door here to move the motor closer to the rail. All right, it's dinner time. Window down. I don't know if this is up or down. We'll find out here. That was up. Nope, that was up. All right. So I'm going to bring this down so I can detach the window from the rail. Which way is which here? All right. There we go. This was quite a bit of work here. This one ended up being too long, so I ended up hacking it up and using some of the parts for the new one, but that did not, this was too much space between the motor and the rail. I ran out of cable, so I had to shorten it, and I did this. The reason that's loose on there is because I have that bolt out of there. These bolts are 3/8, I believe. get the crank off of there. Just gonna put the window up. So when, if this comes crashing down, once I remove that window regulator, window crank. Okay, there that is. That. I'm gonna put these screws back in here. So now I have 4 of these, 2 for each side. I don't know, I'll probably hold on to 2 of them and then, but I don't think this is something. It's funny, I thought that once I got done with this van project, I'd have double of everything because I bought that green parts van. And then I thought that I would sell everything and be somebody's hero, like get rid of everything little by little on the second gen Econoline site. But it seems like everything that I have is stuff that people don't need. It's not really sought after. There's probably plenty of these window cranks out here and, you know, nothing goes wrong with them. So, whereas like steering parts, power steering parts, power brake parts, that's the stuff that's sought after. All right, that's it right there. I've got that right. I should have the same number, should be the same distance from here to here as here to here. 19 and a quarter. Yeah, it's a little bit more than a quarter. Yeah, it's about 19 and a quarter. I'm gonna remove the wing window, the vent window, and get that whole rail out of there. Remove this. There's 3 screws along the side here and then 1 screw that holds the rail that way. And then I drop that window down and I can, I do have to unhook the bottom of the rails. There's a 7/16 bolt that holds the bottom of this rail and one that holds the bottom of this one. Now I'll bring the window down. As far as it'll go. Cock this to the side. Then I should be able to bring this window out of that track there. No, it's almost out. It's just barely in the track. Oh, there it went. Okay, now it's laying in the door. I want to remove those whiskers. They got to come out anyways. By whiskers, I mean these here. The window rolls up in between those. I'm not reusing these. I've got new ones, so I'm not being real delicate as far as taking them out. There's one. This door was painted with these on. You can see the green paint along the top of them. Should be all of them there. Now, the window's laying in the bottom of the door. I should be able to get this vent out of here. Oh, that vent's broke. I see why that's been flopping around and not opening or closing right. I'm gonna remove this portion from the whole rail. If I can get something inside there, get it started, should be able to get in here. There it goes. See, this is actually broke right here. These rivets are broke. So if I decide to use this frame, I've got another frame I could use. What I'll do is I'll compare the two of them beside each other and see if one is better than the other. If this ends up being the better out of the two frames, then I'll weld that. I'll clamp it and weld those rivets right there. Well, that explains that. Man, this window has just been crappy. Not only is the seal pulling out of the frame, you see that there? That should be tucked inside of there and be tight in that corner. Basically, you didn't open this vent window because it was impossible to get it shut again and get it sealed without it whistling the entire time. So I'll get that back up to par, and I gotta tint this glass also. Okay, now send this through without scratching the glass. Maybe I should do that from this end so I can feel the glass. Yeah, I'm sitting on the glass right now. Okay, there's that one. I gotta break this felt out of here, clean up that rail. See if I can lay this towel in here. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, there's the glass. A scratch. Yeah, that's a scratch right there. Man, the tint just makes all the scratches just pop. You might not know there's a scratch until you tint the window, and then it's, yeah, that is definitely a scratch right there. But it's on the outside. Okay, I gotta get this rail off of here, and this is fun. I about throw my back out every time I do this. Come along the bottom of the razor blade. I will pull it first, see how much it's holding on. Try not to break it. But I also worry about that expanding the rubber. I don't know if there's petroleum in WD-40 or not, but I think it does bloat rubber. So if it gets tighter in there rather than loose, then I know what I did wrong. Why is that so hard on the back? It's like pulling and crouching at the same time or something, I don't know. Winner. Kind of. I've got a scratch in here that I can feel with my fingernail. See if I can show you. It's right here. And technically there's actually two scratches that that run the whole distance of the window all the way up. Must have been some piece of metal exposed there or something, and every time the window was rolled up or down, it was scraping the window on the inside. So before I tin it and find out that that scratch shows, I'm going to sand it out and polish it. So these are the sanding discs, and I still don't understand how this is 120 grit and this is 60 grit, yet the 120 grit is more aggressive than the 60. Normally that would be the other way around. The higher the number, the finer. So, you know, like 400 would be like a finish paper, whereas 60 is normally real heavy grit to remove a lot of material. But these are opposite. So this is the first step. This takes the most. This is the second step. This takes the least. These green discs last longer. You can get repeated sanding out of these. The blue ones, they're kind of junk. I mean, you get a couple passes with it, and then it just starts losing its grit. So I got a couple used green ones here. I'm going to see if these will still sand, if I can get deep enough with one of these, because I'm down to, well, I guess I have 3 of the greens left, but I only have 1 blue left, and the blue is what you really need the most. You can't go directly from the green disc right to polishing. It just won't polish out. So I'm really worried if I get it all scuffed up with the green and then I run out of a blue, then I'm going to have to order these again, which stinks. I think this one feels a little more gritty. And I'm gonna sand just a little bit. I've got a line here just kind of showing me, because even though that scratch does go all the way to the top, I think it can be polished out up here, but down here I can feel it with my fingernails. I can't feel it with my nail anywhere else. All right, here we go. That's not biting at all. And I'll just go to a new green one. Might as well. If I've got to order more blue ones, then it'd be dumb not to order green ones at the same time. This one should bite pretty much right away. Yep. Now I've learned my lesson. When it sands big like that and starts leaving pieces of glass, you get it off of the glass, because all it takes is one of those pieces to be on the large side, and it will start etching the glass in circles. Oof. See all that? Okay, I see my scratch there. The scratch is gone in this area here, but I can see it from here to here. So anyways, I'm going to keep doing this. Keep sanding it down until I see no scratches whatsoever. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I'm down to 1 of these blue discs, which is the final, or the middle process. After you've dug deep and got the scratch out of the glass, then you go to this step, get it to where it just kind of looks cloudy. Like, I mean, it looks cloudy now, but when you're done with this blue disc, it's not as cloudy, I guess. It should still look kind of cloudy, but not frosted like that. I guess that would be a better way to say it. Cloudy, but not frosted. Okay. And this is gonna bite kind of like the green one where I'm gonna get dust on here that I gotta keep wiping off. I have to say, that didn't really bite. Well, it must have. That was just water. You can already kind of tell, though, that I went over it with one pass. Probably should have cleaned this before doubling that pass, because this is loaded up. And I'm putting like streaks in it. That's not good. I don't like that at all. I just do not like the way that it's... I've got to find a better way to stay more consistent, to stay more flat. Because it's like, I get to the one end and then it starts walking on a different part of the disc. That ain't no good. That's what's causing it to streak like that. I think this might be ready for polish. I don't want to take my chances and keep if I haven't said it already, it's my last blue disc, for crying out loud. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start polishing, because I think I can get all that out of there with polish. I mixed up this polish last night and put a lid on it. And I mean, I don't see any big chunks in it, so I'm gonna try it. See if this is even touching it. Yeah, obviously still needs polish there. Or need to go back to the blue disc. Alright, well, do another round of polish. And if the polish doesn't do it, then I'm going back to the blue disc. Okay, I'm attempting to tint. This is the driver's side window from the 73. So this is the one I was just polishing last night. Should be the bottom right here. This is 35% light emittance. I just had the backing peeled off of it about 5 minutes ago, which has got to be the hardest part of tinting. It's getting the film separated. Here we go. I was using a cheap dish soap and then read that, well, the first time growing up when I was a teenager, I always used glass cleaner, like Windex, when I was doing tint. And then so I was just refreshing myself and read up, and it said that that is bad. It can actually break down the adhesive on the tint. So then I was using dish soap, and it said if you use soap, you're only supposed to use baby shampoo. Trying to wet this down so cat hair doesn't immediately cling to every square inch of this. So this is just water, dechlorinated water. Trying to keep the squeegee, which isn't a squeegee. It's really, plastic is probably too hard on the film. But if I catch that film just right with one of the corners of this spreader or trowel or whatever, it'll wrinkle the tint and put a spot in it that will not come out. Drilling the hole right here for this boot for all the wiring to go through. This is out of a 2004 Econoline. On the Econoline, this actually, the wiring, it kind of does this. So even when you close the door, it's not closing it all the way like this, but in this case it is. When the door is shut, there's just enough room for this to accordion completely shut. And I think no matter how perfect I make this hole here to fit this ridge right here, I think it would still push in, which is the case with this hole saw that I'm using here. This is the closest I have. Technically it is the right size, it's just no matter, I don't know, I'd have to go way too small and then use a burr and grind it out to fit. And I'm worried if I put all that work into it, it's still going to collapse and go back into the door anyways. So what I did was made this bracket to go on the inside and put a screw here and a screw here. and then that doesn't allow that to push into the door. It holds it in the door tight. Obviously, this hole saw does not like going through this thick steel right here, so it's kind of a bear. It takes a little bit. I try not to go too fast with it. Yeah, it's smoking. Yeah, then there's another layer on the inside. Right. See, that's pretty significantly. I mean, the outside is just a thin shell, but that one there is pretty thick. This is what it looks like. Then I put it in there. And it goes in like this. Oh, there it goes. Is it threaded? It is. There, that holds it real tight. Seals it nice. Putting lights in the bottom of the door here, so when you open the door, light shines down around your feet, kind of like modern vehicles. I'll do one and then these screws I bought were way too long. I got stainless. The blue lights are larger than the white lights, and it just so happens that I have bits that fit both of them exact. I mean, real tight. Yeah, I believe this is the one for the white. It's the same lights I used in the glove compartment. See how much larger this bulb is compared to this bulb? This is a blue, this is a white. If I use this bit right here, it fits exact. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. One. Two. Looks about like the middle there. 3. I'll do one here. Okay, I got the lights setting in the holes. What I did was I kept this. I wish I knew what size that was. We'll say that this is 3/16 on this side and maybe quarter on this side. So I drilled it larger almost, and then just left like 1/8 of an inch along the top there so they fit nice and tight on this side but sloppy on this side. So I'm going to put hot glue inside of those holes to hold each individual bulb in. I've brought them all up to where I can just start to see the wire. See if I pop that up, how that black is exposed. I don't want it up that high. So I just bring it down until I can just barely see a little bit of the black. So they're all sitting in there the exact same depth. I don't know how hot that tip is. Usually on these glue guns the tip is pretty hot. I don't want to melt the wires, but I really want to shove that glue in there though. And I'm kind of sealing it so when water runs down the window, I don't want it chasing these wires and then going in the backside of the LEDs. So not only is the hot glue holding them in their sockets, but also sealing the backside too. I don't know how much of that's actually making it down in the hole, but I guess as long as it adheres to the PVC on the top side, it'll hold it. Okay, they're all still sitting the same depth there. All right, I'm happy with that. When you open the door, there'll be blue lights somewhere right around here that shine on the wheel. And in a perfect world, my wheels will always be nice and polished and shiny, so it should make the whole wheel glow blue when you open the door. So here and here. So I'm going to cut this in half, probably more than half, because I really only need about that much. And then I'll relieve it so this bends easily with this bend here. These are the blue lights here. Like I said before, they're larger, but this bit fits perfect. The whole light won't go through the hole. Hopefully that didn't break it. So I'm gonna set these in here, just like I did the other one. See, I already got one in there. But these though, these are sloppy enough in this PVC to where I can lift the light a little bit, put some glue in the hole, and then pull the light back down. And then let that dry or cool, flip it over, and then fill the backside like I did on the white lights. I didn't mark this though. I don't know which side is which. All right, those are sticking out nice. This is 5 LEDs here. You can kind of see how far. So I think that'll be a pretty good glow on the ground. This is about how far the door sits up off of the ground right here. The blue is kind of directional. It's not really like a flood as soon as you get down below the blue. So hopefully that's far enough away from the wheel to where it covers doesn't just put 2 spotlights on the wheel. Yeah, I think it'll be nice. I soaked this overnight, the latch assembly. Got all the old grease off of it and everything. Got white lithium grease. Smooth. So this one attaches right here. Oh yeah, easy peasy. I'm installing the power door lock here. I already got the holes drilled for it, so that's going right underneath there. Put this rod on there. This clamp here clamps onto the factory rod somewhere around here. I wonder if I can attach this first. Should be able to. This might work. All right, I'm putting this wing window in, the vent window. I have two of each, and I had the same way with the actual wing window itself. I had to choose. This one was in better shape here. This it wasn't all rusty underneath here, but I cannot get this. This handle won't lock, and it's loose. This frame here was in better shape. I could not get this roll pin out. These latches are held in with a roll pin right there. See it again down on the bottom. And this handle here is more pitted, but the hinge is in better shape. This is kind of what I'm dealing with here. This is why I'm showing you all this. This hinge right here, it moves more nicely, and there's more paint left on it. Like I said, this handle's in better shape, and it locks, and it's not as loose. It's not as floppy on there. But the frame here is missing paint, and this is all rusted and corroded. It's like there's less left of this than this one here. So I chose this one. I chose the rusty one with the better latch. And I got this tinted, and as my tinting skills go lately, again, I did this 3 times. Finally I just settled. It's got what looks like air bubbles are not air bubbles. It's actually stuff on the glass, I think. So then when it comes to the frame for the vent windows, this one is all rusty, missing a bunch of paint right there. Somebody spray painted, when they spray painted the van, they sprayed the top of it, and when I tried to remove it, all the paint came off. And this one is less rusty, but it was broke right here. This black portion here is in better shape. And then it's less rusty underneath. This bracket's less rusty, but it was broke right here. These 2 rivets that hold this together, I had to weld it back together there. So I'm getting ready to put the new seal in. As I said before, the green parts van that I bought came with 2 brand new vent window seals. And this is like a $300 value right here. So, I'm going to, they have a tendency to pull away in the corner right here and kind of go like this once they start shrinking. So I'm putting adhesive rubber cement up in the top right here and up here and see if I can maintain that corner, keep it inside that corner there. Just gonna do a quick cleaning on this seal before I think it'll be easier to clean it now. At least all the parts that show on it. I don't know if this is just like this white powder that's on it. I don't know if that's from the factory. Sometimes rubber will be coated in powder. I think part of the end of the vulcanization or something. These gloves aren't helping. I just switched to brand new gloves to do this. This is kind of this is clean work, I guess. I'm gonna clean right there where I'm gonna put rubber cement. Every Econoline, second gen Econoline van that I've seen, that I zoom in on it and look to see if this wing window, this vent, the seal is pulling away from the frame, and they almost always are. So I have a feeling it's a flaw. It's got these tabs that you put inside the frame and then you bend them over. And that's what holds this whole side into this rail here. Can you see the holes there on the black portion? But they should have put the last one up here at the very top, because that's where it starts to pull away. It starts pulling this way out of the corner right there. And I think if they would have put one more metal tab at the top, it wouldn't have done that. But I don't really have any way of doing that, my version of it. So my version is rubber cement. This is a contact cement. So I'm gonna do the rail. I just gotta get one side started. Okay, there. I'll focus on this side first with those metal tabs. Get all those set. It's not in this top rail yet up here. I got to get that pushed up inside of there. There it goes. All right, it was stuck on the seal, was stuck. Okay, I think I'm gonna put these screws in the top so this frame quits moving around on me. All right, these are tight. Hopefully I can just walk this right down. There it goes. I like that sound. Okay, let's see if I can come back down here now. corner doesn't want to seat. If I struggle with it, I'll use a little silicone, but as long as I can keep pushing it in, I won't. When you start pushing on that tab, that steel tab is pretty strong. So when you start trying to bend it over, it starts pushing the seal away, back out again. So I found that if I use these, I can hold the seal tight against the rail as I'm bending that tab over. Okay, I'm gonna put the wing window in, the frame curves that way. I think this will only go in one way. Almost. What's going on here? Where am I caught? A little better. I'll over tighten it until I get the hinge in. Okay, now I can get the screws in on the hinge. Okay, seems to be sealed all the way around. Gotta clean the glass again. It should be good to go. Brand new seal. Okay, I got the window laying inside the door. I'm going to do these window felts were a pain. I worked on this one. I don't know if you can see that or not, how that's all, see how that's all dug up right there? Anyways, I had this one in the passenger door and it just would not fit in there. I was using a putty knife and a piece of steel and just trying to keep it in there, and then it would go in one side would lock and the other side would pop out of the channel on the inside. So I reached out. I had this one in the passenger side. I put the door back on, had the door all together and everything. And then I thought, well, I'm going to reach out to the company that actually manufactured them rather than the company that I ordered it from. Because this was listed, this kit, this window felt kit, was listed as an E300 only. And there's no difference. Then I reached out to Repops, the actual manufacturer of the felt kit, and I talked to, shout out to Brian, because he saved the day. I sent him pictures, and he said, well, I got this other felt that's meant for an F-150, and he sent me pictures of it, and it is right. I put it in the passenger door already, and it just snaps right in there, easy as cake. I mean, this is the right seal. And but basically, the correct one has extra fingers that like a ridge that comes out and covers the channel on the outside of the door. And maybe once I get it installed, maybe I'll be able to get a close-up shot. But so yeah, Brian at Repops was awesome. I'm gonna put this seal. And this one's different, by the way. This one's just real thin, and there's not much to this one here. On the passenger side, I started with this one, and it went so smooth. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a piece of cake. And then got to the one that wraps around and goes all the way down. This is all one piece here that comes up along the top of the window. And I spent days on it. I kept coming up with an idea. I thought I knew how I was going to be able to do it. I tried heating it a little. I tried silicone. The silicone actually made it pop right back out faster. I was squeezing it, and it's just, man, what a nightmare. So I'm really glad that I reached out to them, because that was not right. It was not fitting right. The felt was half in the channel and half out. Okay, that one's in there. I bottomed it out all the way at the bottom there. So in case I don't want it slipping inside the track there. All right, I'm gonna cut the excess off of this. I think a little bit can go up into the door, so I'm not gonna cut it exactly flush. I'm gonna cut it a little high. Put this in here without scratching the top of the glass. Okay. Yeah, the felt can be long. This one that is factory cut with a 45 on both sides, and I believe that's meant to go in and meet that vent window rail just right. I guess, I mean, I can 45 it the same way they did. I think I need to do it that way, because I need this felt in so I can set the glass in, because you can't put the glass in the tracks with this. This has to, you got to cock this at an angle in order to get the glass in the track, and then you bring this over and then install the vent window. So that's why I'm not installing the vent window yet. Okay, that's what I'm doing. There's really nothing to that. It's just push it in the channel and bring it around, push it in the corner. You don't need to see that. Okay, putting the vent window in. And to do that, I've got to, okay, here we go. I wonder if I can put the window in, the vent in completely, and then push that rail into it. I should be able to. I don't know why I want it. Okay, that's seated. I'm gonna run a track in here. Okay, there it goes. Okay, gotta cock it like that. Then I can get the window in the track. Now I gotta get this vent to slide back over again. There. Okay. Should be able to put this one in now. I'm gonna try to put this door up here by myself, or back on by myself. Where do I want my bolt? I'm gonna put some bolts up on the seat. Okay, I want to be on the outside of the door. I'm gonna try setting it on the stool there. Come around. Actually, maybe I can line it up just like this. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right. One started up here. I'll get the ones down below. That went way better than I thought it would. Have a little faith, man. Jeez. I'm almost positive that I'll see. Might be too tight there. Okay, let's see how it shuts. Those are still kind of loose, too loose. Oh, this guy's way low. So the back of the door has to come up. better? Damn. Pretty much looks dead on. Yeah, maybe this line here ain't so good. I got this rubber boot holding me. I might have to cut the hole for the rubber boot before I can check the fitment on the door and get it dialed in, because the boot's holding me back with it not being seated in the body of the van. It doesn't want to accordion. So you see how that hinge goes through and then fastens there. And the top hinge fastens there. And then this is the boot. I've got to drill a hole, or I've got to widen this hole to accept this boot here. This gap gets a little wider at the top. And then seems like too much gap at the very top below the drip rail, and too tight here. And then that gap widens as it comes down. I've got more room, like as far as inside of here, there's some kind of brace that runs directly across here. So I can't go much higher, and I wish I could because the boot's a little bit higher than that hole. Ideally, I'd like to have the hole right here. And that would make that a straight shot right from the door. But I don't think I can. So it's gonna have to just go down just a little bit. I've got this big unibit I bought for a specific job like 10 years ago. It cost me $50 for this big thing, but it's pretty much done. I mean, its days are over. So that's what I'm using to open this up, and then I'll finish it once this either gets to a step that is not cutting. Then I'll switch over to a grinding burr, and I'll grind the rest out. Yeah, I think we're getting to that step where it won't cut any farther. .5 inches. Not that far off. I've learned my lesson already with making them the exact size. See if I make this one undersized, if it holds itself in there. Yeah, it's in. Yeah, it's tight all the way around, so you can open the door. Except I can't open the door any farther than that. It's hitting the wood pile over here. I don't know though, I think that's gonna hold. I can start running wires. I still have to do a door switch and an on-off switch down here. Unfortunately, this side, this driver's side, has a hole down here that the passenger side doesn't have. So I'm gonna have to build some kind of plate right there so I can mount the door switch and the on-off switch down there. What's that you say? You want to know all about mirrors? Okay. Seems pretty boring. About 3 years ago and 2.5 years ago, I knew that I wanted to use Dodge van mirrors. So this is off of a 91 Dodge B250 van. And the reason that I chose these mirrors is because they're the only ones I could find. Chevy and older Fords, well, Ford never used this kind of mirror. I knew that I wanted to use this mirror is because I knew I had a pretty good chance of it almost lining up with the contour of the door. This bend right here. Dodge truck mirrors are just straight. They mount to a different part of the door and there's no body line on that part of the door, but the van ones did. So I got searching and found out that they're not real common. So I found one, and I got them both off of eBay. I found one in Colorado and I found one in Arizona. One of them was like $60 and the other one was $110. I don't remember which one was harder to find, but I'm thinking the driver's side was impossible. So I think the driver's side was more expensive. So then I just had them sitting in the van for a couple years, and then I just went to hook them up and neither one of them would move. So, I mean, the motors were running, but the mirror wasn't moving. I took it apart, and so this is driver's side. This is passenger side. I'll explain this in a second. So I took the passenger side apart first, this one, and this was all mangled. This was broke, and the more I broke the mirror off of the plastic, it just kept breaking into pieces. The pieces of plastic were staying stuck to the mirror and breaking off of this here, and this right here is what this is supposed to look like. This right here, this backing plate. And I should say that none of these parts are available anymore. Nobody makes an aftermarket version, and Dodge quit making them years and years ago. I didn't think I was going to be able to fix this because this plate was in pieces, and where it fastens to the motor was all broke out. There's a crack going all the way across here, so as soon as you try to seat that corkscrew inside of there, it doesn't hold it. And at this time, I hadn't taken the driver's side mirror apart. The driver's side also wasn't working, so I just kept telling myself, whatever I do with the passenger mirror, I'm gonna have to do with the driver mirror also. So my first attempt was, I went to a junkyard and I bought two of these. This is a Ford E250 mirror, 2005, 2006, something like that. And inside of this mirror is this motor. I thought that I could take the guts out of those Ford mirrors and hide them inside of the Dodge mirrors and then find a way to attach the glass. And that wasn't working so well. I couldn't get this was sticking up too high and I couldn't set it in there any farther. So I said, all right, I'm not going to use the Ford mirrors. How about newer Dodge mirrors? So I went to another junkyard, and these are off of a 94 Dodge van. And this is what it looks like on the inside. This backing plate here that the mirror fastens to snaps on, and that Ford does the same thing. The Ford has a similar clip like this, and this whole plate here just snaps onto the motor. I actually like that design. I could not get this motor to sit. See how I cut all the innards out of this here? And my plan was to cut the same kind of square in this mirror and then just set this whole assembly right inside of there. But again, the mirror was going to stick out from the housing like 1/4 of an inch, and even more when you tilted it certain ways. Then it really stuck out of the mirror. And it turns out this mirror is a 1/2 inch deeper than what this mirror is. Then I took the driver's side apart and thought, well, let's not assume that the driver's side is as bad as what the passenger side was. And I figured out how these motors work. This motor here, this is the Dodge. This is the 91 Dodge mirror, the motor. And see that corkscrew there? That's threaded on the outside. And then there's some kind of worm gear inside of here that runs alongside. It would be like this. Runs alongside it and pushes that up and down. But these have to be held still, because otherwise, if this is not being held by this backing plate, then it'll just spin with the gear inside of there, and then it doesn't move. And that's what both of these mirrors were doing. Those corkscrews, I'm calling them corkscrews, the threaded rods were just spinning inside the backing plate, and that's why the mirror wasn't moving. So I was way more gentle, and I didn't use heat. When that mirror wasn't coming off of this backing plate, I started using heat to try to break the adhesive down and scrape the mirror off of the backing plate. And when I was doing that, I was warping this. I mean, this was broke like this also in the middle. But I had a big plan where I was gonna epoxy this back together and then glue the mirror to it, so at least I could have a nice frame around the mirror. So when you look at the mirror, it's not just glass border hanging around there. It actually would look factory, and I would have that little black border going around the mirror. But this one was in better shape, so I cleaned these really well. I cleaned everything with acetone and took a wire brush and cleaned all the steel, and then roughed up the plastic around there, and then I used this epoxy on here. This is really good stuff here. So this mirror is working. So really, in the end, I didn't have to do anything to the driver's mirror other than give it some attention, give it some epoxy. The passenger side was already too far gone. So I took the Ford Econoline motor out of one of these mirrors right here and fastened it inside of the Dodge mirror. So in other words, if any of you out there know where I can buy a passenger side Dodge B250 mirror, please shout out. Let me know. I will buy it. And it turns out Dodge used two different size mirrors, and they're close. They're shaped similarly, but not exactly the same. And then I got on Rock Auto, and this Burco company was advertising fits both sides. One part number fits both sides. And I was so hesitant. I thought, man, what is going on? I thought it was the wrong size for it to be able to fit right and left. But I went ahead and ordered them anyways. They were only, I think, like $18 per side, something like that. And they're double-sided. So you can install this glass on either side. You just flip it around. I just have to put some adhesive, or it comes with these mirrors. There's 8 adhesive discs, double-sided discs in each mirror. The replacement glass on this one, I'm just gonna stick the freaking mirror right to the motor like that. That's what that's gonna look like. So I'm on the lookout for a passenger side, a right side Dodge B250 powered mirror, and I will gladly take the mirror off, and it'll be easy to do. An hour I could have the entire mirror switched out, have it rewired, and have the proper parts in there, and then I'll just order another replacement glass from them. I got both mirrors mounted here. This is how that mirror came out without the frame around it. But I mean, it's not terrible though. I mean, it doesn't stick out or anything. I'll probably be the only one that notices that mirror's not sitting in there exactly the same as the other side. This is the switch that turns the door lights on. And then I rigged up a little, I don't know, pusher right there. Just bent a piece of metal to come and shut the lights off when you close the door. But then I can also turn them off. Like right now, they're off. So if I want to leave a door open for an extended amount of time, the lights aren't on the entire time, so I can turn them off. I'm just getting ready to put the heat box back in. Get it all buttoned up. I got here is like a draft stopper, because this connects to the fender on the other side. So there's a lot of air coming in here when you're driving. So they have these block offs here where you can access inside the fender. So I got both of those on. Got all the wiring done. This is the one on the driver's side. I haven't swept in here yet, but same thing. So I can turn the lights off. And this one had a hole behind here, and it wasn't in the right spot. It was right in the middle of where I wanted to be, so I had to make this little plate here to mount all that to. I did not have to do anything on this boot. This boot ended up is staying in there well, so I didn't have to put a clasp on there. I wish I would have made the other hole smaller, and I wouldn't have had to have done that on the other side. I built a little speaker box inside the door here. I made it about a 1/4 inch deeper than it needs to be, and it's holding itself in there. I mean, I can really push on this and it doesn't move inside the door, so I'm not gonna bother to glue it or anything. If I ever need to get inside of this door for some reason, then I can just pull this foam right back out of there and then just stuff it back in there the way that I got it. But it's just like a speaker box. So those little 5-inch speakers I think will do better in an enclosed space than what they would trying to, you know, create bass inside this entire door. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Here they are. Now these were a pain in the butt on the other side, mostly because of right here where they meet the felts. It's like these are too long, but they did end up going. I'm worried that that's going to impact the window. Maybe I've got a little more room on this one so it doesn't smash the felt and crowd the window right there. This clip is also not holding it. It's trying to. Okay, there it did. It's giving you no room at all. See that hole right here? And it's tucked in farther. See, these are the here, here, here. There's another one right here. Can't see it very well. I'm not sure if this, I'm not sure if that tab is supposed to be sunk in that far, or if I should bring that out. It would probably help the whisker sit in there farther, because see how that's pushing the felt out right there? It seems like it's not the way it's supposed to be, and I'm afraid when the window gets up into that area, it's really going to be squeezing the window, and it's going to be hard on the motor. See what the window thinks. I don't know how well it's coming through. I'm gonna put a door card. Actually, I'm gonna put that door card from a newer Econoline on, but that's for another week. Right now, I've just got the controls zip tied here. Got a power window. Power mirror. Right one. Which I had adjusted. I'm doing this for a year, you know. Speakers and the door now. I'll take these grills off when it's time to put the door card on. I'm just using the grills to protect them right now. Oh, power locks. Then I have a remote also. And then the door lights. Pretty good. It almost makes it across. See, there's only one little blank area right there, and I think if it was pitch dark in the garage right now, you'd probably be able to see right there. So I'm happy with that. I didn't want it to be that's why I chose the real warm lights instead of the bright white LEDs. I didn't want it to be overpowering. I don't want it to, like if you park on concrete, I don't want it to shine back in your face or anything. I just, you know, want some light to be able to see what you're standing on before you get in the van. So I didn't mention before, there's going to be lights up above here also, so when you open the door there'll be lights going across, probably about 10 of them that shine straight down. And then same way here, I've got the plugs already ready to go. They're wired in. Here's another one.